Chapter 4. The Land of Spells. Rick shot around and down the inside of the faraway tree on his cushion. He came to the bottom. He shot out of the trapdoor there and landed on the soft green moss. He sat there for a moment out of breath. That's the loveliest slide I've ever had, he thought to himself. Ooh, wouldn't I like to do that again? He had just got up from the moss when the trapdoor at the bottom of the tree opened once more, and Franny shot out on her yellow cushion. Then came Beth giggling, for she always thought it was a huge joke to slide down the inside of a tree like that. "What do we do with the cushions?" asked Rick. "Does Moonface want them back?" "Yes, he does," says Franny, picking them up. "The red squirrel always collects them and then sends them back up to him." As she spoke, a red squirrel dressed in a sweater popped out of the hole of the trunk. "Here you are, here's the cushions," said Franny, and the squirrel took them. He looked up into the tree, and then the rope came swinging down. "Moonface always lets it down for his cushions," said Beth. Rick watched as the squirrel tied the 3 cushions to the rope end and then gave it 3 gentle tugs. And then once the rope was pulled up and the cushions went wiggling up the tree to Moonface. "I wish Joe was with us," said Rick. I wish Joe was with us, said Rick, as they all went home. "Do you think Aunt Polly will be worried about him?" "Well, we'll have to tell Mother the truth," said Franny. "She is sure to ask where he is." Mother did ask, of course, and the girls told her what had happened. "I find all that very difficult to believe," said Mother, astonished. "I think Joe is just spending the night with Moonface for a treat. I'll trust Moonface to take care of him tonight, but he must be home tomorrow." Nobody said any more. The girls and Rick felt very tired, and after some hot chocolate and baked potatoes for dinner, they all went to bed. Beth wondered how Joe was getting on in Moonface's. He was getting on all right, though he was very tired of being upside down, and didn't matter how hard he tried to stand the right way up, he always swung back topsy-turvy again. The policeman had put a very strong spell on him. You had better try to sleep in my bed," said Moonface. "I'll sleep on the sofa." "I suppose I'll have to stand on my hands all night," said poor Joe. And that's just what he had to do. To do it was very uncomfortable. Once he lost his balance when he was asleep, and he tipped off the bed and almost fell down the slippery slip, but Moonface, who was awake, reached out at him and caught his leg just in time. "My goodness," says Moonface, "don't go doing things like that in the middle of the night, Joe. It's so disturbing." "Well, how can I help it?" said Joe. "I'll tie your feet and nail them to the wall," said Moonface. "Then you can topple over when you are asleep." So he did that, and Joe didn't fall down any more. The morning came, he was surprised to find himself upside down, because at first he didn't remember what had happened. "I'll just pop up through the hole in the cloud and see if there's any change to the land of spells, if it's there yet," said Moonface. "If it is, we'll go up and see what we can do for you." So off he went, up the little ladder, and popped his head out in the hole in the cloud to see if it was the land of Topsy-Turvy still there, or if it had gone. There was nothing there at all, only the big white cloud moving about like a thick mist. Moonface slid down the ladder again. "Topsy-Turvy has gone, But the next land hasn't come yet, he said. We'll have breakfast, and then we'll look again. Hello, there's Silky. Stay and have some breakfast, Silky dear. I came up to see how Joe was, said Silky. Yes, I'd love to have some breakfast. It's funny to watch Joe eating upside down. Hasn't the Land of Spells come over yet? Not yet, said Moonface, putting the kettle on the stove to boil. There's nothing there at all, but Topsy-Turvy is gone, thank goodness. They all had breakfast, then Moonface cooked some porridge. What do you want on your porridge? he asked Joe. Syrup, sugar, and cream? Joe couldn't see any syrup, sugar, or cream on the table. Syrup, he said, please, to Moonface. Moonface handed him a small jug that seemed to be quite empty. Syrup, he said, to the jug in a firm voice. And syrup came pouring out, and soon Joe tipped up the jug. Silky wanted cream, and the cream came out, and Moonface said cream, and the jug gave more cream. It was great fun. Moonface went again to see if the Land of Spells had come. This time he came back excited. It's there, he cried. Come on, I'd better take some money with me, I think, in case we have to buy the spell we want. He took a small bag down from the shelf, and then he and Silky helped Joe to walk upside down up the branch that led through the hole to the cloud that led to the little ladder. Up he went with great difficulty, holding on tightly to the rungs of the ladder with his hands. At last he was in the Land of Spells. This land was like a big marketplace. In it were all kinds of curious little shops and stalls. All kinds of people sold spells. In some of the shops sat tall wizards, famous for their magic. In some of them were green-eyed witches making spells as fast as they could. Outside in the marketplace sat all kinds of fairy folk in their stalls, pixies, gnomes, goblins, elves, all crying their wares at the top of their high voices. Spells to make a crooked nose straight, cried one pixie, rattling a yellow box in which were magic pills. Spells to grow blue daffodils, cried a gnome, showing a bottle of blue juice. Spell to make cats sing, cried another gnome. Joe could hardly believe his ears. How odd! Who would want to make cats sing? Now, we must just see if we can possibly find a spell to make you stand up straight again, said Moonface. And he went into a little low shop where a strong goblin sat. The goblin had blue pointed ears, and his eyes were sparkling, as if they had fireworks in them. I want a spell, said Moonface. What for? asked the goblin. I've a spell for anything under the sun in my shop. Very powerful spells too, some of them. Would you like a spell to send you travelling straight off to the moon? Oh no, thank you, said Moonface at once. I know I look like the moon. I look like the man in the moon, but my big round face, but I'm nothing at all to do with the moon, really. Well, would you like a spell to make you as tall as a giant? Said the goblin, picking up a box and opening it. He showed Moonface a large blue pill inside. Now take this pill and you will shoot up as high as a house. You'll feel fine. It only costs 1 piece of gold. No thank you, said Moonface. If I grow as big as that, I'll never get down the hole in the cloud back to the faraway tree. And if I did, I'd never be able to get in the door of my little tree house. I don't want silly spells like that. Silly, cried the goblin in rage. You call my marvellous spell silly? Another word from you, stupid old round face, and I'll use a spell that will turn you into a big bouncing ball. Silky pulled Moonface out of the shop quickly. She was quite pale. Moonface, you know you shouldn't make these people angry, she whispered. You might find yourself turned into a bouncing ball or a black beetle, or something. If you are rude to them, for goodness sake, let me ask for the spell we want. Look, here's a bigger shop, with a nice-looking witch inside. They all went in. The witch was knitting socks from the green smoke that came from her fire. It was marvellous to watch. Joe wished he wasn't upside down, so that he could see her properly. "Good morning," said the witch. "Do you want a spell?" "Yes, please," said Silky, in her most polite voice. "We want to make our friend Joe stand the right way up again." "That's easy," said the witch, her green eyes looking in a kindly way at poor Joe. "I've only got to rub a walking spell on the soles of his feet, and he will be all right. The walking spell will make his feet want to walk, and he will have to stand upright to do the walking on. So he will be cured. Come here, young man." Joe walked over to the witch on his hands. She took down a jar from the shelf and opened it. It was full of purple ointments. The witch rubbed some on the soles of Joe's shoes. "Rimmery, rammery, reet. Stand on your own 2 feet. Rimmery, rammery, row. The right way up you must go." And of course, you can guess what happened. Joe swung the right way over, stood on his 2 feet again, and there he was, as upright as Moonface and Silky. Wasn't he glad?